Today I review the G.I. Joe spin-off Snake Eyes, where a man rescues the heir of a powerful ninja clan and is given the chance to join their ranks, but secrets from his past soon come to light that may destroy them all. But before I get started, if you enjoy this review and you want to watch new reviews that I post every Monday and Fridays, like this video and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the box right here. First off, I really enjoyed how they made Snake Eyes a much more complicated character in this movie, rather than him being the average good guy with a tragic backstory. Because in this movie, the dude had issues. You know, he was a bad guy, but he was trying to do the right thing, but he was just so stuck in his own way. And that made him more interesting. It gave him a lot of room to develop into the Snake Eyes that fans of the franchise grew up to love. Now, this movie does an awful job developing the character of Snake Eyes, but I'll get into that later. And I had a good time with the action scenes. They were happening frequently enough where I wasn't getting bored, and I can see in the fight scenes that the actors they got were legit martial artists, including my favorite martial arts actor, Iko Uwais. I was so happy when he was in this. He doesn't have a big role or anything, but he was there, and he had a couple of fight scenes, and he always makes me smile. And I really liked how the first half of this movie started planting the seeds for future installments by teasing the existence of Cobra and G.I. Joe, and you even get introduced to a character from both factions. And I was starting to get really excited for what's to come next because I'm Team Cobra all the way. I know, I need to get this touched up, but it's expensive. Give me a minute. Oh my lord, why was the camera doing all that nonsense? I swear, every action scene was just... I'm trying to watch a fight scene, but the camera keeps so I have to focus in on the shaky cam, and that makes me sick, and when I feel sick, I'm not having a good time, and then I associate not having a good time with the movie I'm watching. And the writing for the first half of this movie was pretty good, but then the second half of the movie started, and it felt like the writers from the first two G.I. Joe movies showed up and were like, "We got this, Joes! Go! Magic! Advanced technology! Pose! Pose! Pose!" And I'm like, what is going on here? It felt like a completely different movie. One thing that made no sense to me was the character Akiko. She's the head of security for this ninja clan, and for most of the movie, for first half of the movie, she does not trust Snake Eyes. But then he tells her one little sob story, then all of a sudden, she's in love with him, to the point where she's willing to forsake the laws of her clan. And considering what happens in this movie, that makes no sense. And how this movie develops Snake Eyes and his future arch nemesis Storm Shadow was so frustrating to me. And starting with Snake Eyes, he was always a conflicted character in this movie, but at a certain point he does something that is super awful. But then he feels bad about it, and then suddenly he has a pure heart and everyone forgives him. And I'm like, he hasn't done nearly enough to redeem himself for that awful thing he just did. It's like if I were to walk up to you, punch you in the face and break your nose, and then be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Here's a Skittle." You wouldn't forgive me for that. I would have to pay your medical bills and probably go to jail. But that's what this Snake Eyes movie's like. It makes no sense. And then you have Storm Shadow. And guess what Storm Shadow did to be cursed to walk the path of villainy? He got angry. And the only reason Storm Shadow was angry in the first place is because of all the awful things Snake Eyes just did. But the movie was just pressing hard to make him the main bad guy. But all it ended up doing was making me feel sympathetic for Storm Shadow. And now I want to see Storm Shadow kill Snake Eyes, because Snake Eyes is clearly the bad guy in this. And then the movie's gonna have the audacity to end with Snake Eyes walking out with his traditional G.I. Joe costume with the helmet and the sword. I'm like, no, he's done nothing to earn that. He hasn't redeemed himself for the awful thing he did in this movie. He wasn't even the best fighter in this movie. He didn't have any of the same skills that the Snake Eyes from the cartoons or the previous movies even had. So I'm like, that's not Snake Eyes. This movie started off really cool, and it could have built into a seriously awesome G.I. Joe franchise, but I guess that was a prank by the movie, because they were like, haha, you thought this was gonna be good? Wrong! Snake Eyes is softer than soft. This is moist! Thanks for watching. Click right here to watch more reviews, and to see new reviews, click right here to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything.